Good afternoon, and thank y'all for being here. Crimes happen every day. It is unfortunate, but they do. Some crimes are reported right away, and some crimes are not reported at all. Other crimes are reported years, decades, 10, 20 years down the road, which is unfortunate. Today I'm going to discuss with you why having a statute of limitations for some crimes is important. The 3 points that we're going to discuss are the witness part of it, the evidence part of it, and the issues that lawyers can run into or that defendants or victims can run into when filing claims outside of a statute of limitations, for and against. The first thing we're going to discuss is the evidence. C6C stated that one of the issues that people run into with the statute of filing a claim outside of the statute of limitations is that they have stale evidence. Brown noted, which kind of backs up what C6C said, is that there's improper storage of evidence. Chain of custody may have changed, procedures for storing and collecting evidence may have changed, and that's a problem. When they go to test the evidence that may have been collected at a scene 10 years ago, if it was stored improperly, testing is inconclusive. They may not get the results that they need, or they may not get results at all. DeFonso noted that the fresher the evidence is, the more trustworthy it is. They are able to test everything properly. They're able to rely on the results that they got back. They're able to understand and know that what they tested and what the results that they received are probably reliable and good to go, and they can take that to trial. He also noted that things may happen and it may be unavailable. If a crime was committed and it wasn't reported, the evidence may not be able to be collected at all. The next thing that I'm going to discuss are the witness part of it. Brown made two very good arguments. What if a witness has moved away? If a crime isn't reported, and by the time a claim is filed and it's outside the statute of limitations, they may not be able to get a hold of these witnesses at all. They may be gone untraceable. He also noted that establishments close. If a person says that they were at a restaurant and they go to this restaurant that they said they were at to corroborate one way or another, that restaurant may be closed. They may not be able to interview anybody. They may not be able to reach the people that could back up the story. DeFonso stated that memory fades over time. If a crime is committed and it's not reported right away, the recollection of the crime is not going to be easy for the person that they interview. They may remember this or they may remember that, bits and pieces, but that they're not going to remember it as easily as they would if it was a recent incident, which is what Garner also argued. The more recent the crime, the better the recollection is. The better somebody can recall the incident, they can remember more details, they're able to do more and say more about what happened. And the last thing I'm going to discuss with you is a big piece of the statute of limitations, and that is the prosecution and the defense, or the plaintiff, victim, and the defendant. One of the issues is that can become a big issue that C6C stated is that if a plaintiff or a victim waits to file a claim too long, by the time it may actually be filed with the courts, it could be outside of the statute of limitations. They may have reached the statute of limitations by the time it is actually filed and ready to go. And that's very unfortunate. That's why it's important to have the statute of limitations enforced, and that's why it's important for people to keep that in mind. Yurtoglu also noted that the sooner a crime or incident is reported, the better it is for both parties, the prosecution and the defense. They both have more evidence that they can have their hands on. They both have more witnesses that are available. Maybe the witness has passed away, and if it's too long. So the sooner a crime is reported, or an incident, or whatever it may be is reported, the better both people are. Doyle noted that defending against stale charges is hard for a defense attorney. Even some of the best defense attorneys have issues defending against stale charges. So when a defense attorney has a client that may have committed a crime 10 years ago, defending that crime isn't going to be easy. DeFonso also noted that when a victim reports a crime that's 5 years old, it's better to have the crime reported right away. That way the defense and the victim don't have to rehash or relive or reopen old wounds. So I have discussed the witness part of it, the evidence part of it, and the prosecution and defense part of it, of having a statute of limitations. It is very unfortunate that crimes happen. Not everybody agrees that there should be a statute of limitations, and not every crime should have a statute of limitations. But when it comes to certain crimes, having a statute of limitations is imperative, and it could mean the matter of life and death in some situations. Thank you.
With this,